but still I could not see through it. My Roshi told me, "One more day, with all your spirit." At the end of the day I was exhausted. I told him, "Master, it's no use a month, a week, a day, I cannot pierce the riddle." My master looked at me a long time. "Meditate for 1 more hour," he said. "If you have not solved the cone by then, you will have to kill yourself." Why should a warrior sit around meditating? I thought this was a way of action. Meditation is the action of inaction, yet you are quite correct, that the warrior's way is more dynamic. Ultimately, you will learn to meditate your every action. Yet at the beginning, sitting meditation serves as a ceremony, a special time set aside to increase the intensity of practice. You must master the ritual before you can expand it properly into daily life. As a teacher, I will use every method and artifice at my command to get you interested, and to help you persevere with the work ahead. If I had just walked up to you, and told you the secret of happiness, you would not have even heard me. You needed a guy to fascinate you, do a soft shoe, or jump up on rooftops before you could get a little interested. Well, I am willing to play games, for a little while at least, but there comes a time, when every warrior must walk the path alone. For now, I'll do what is necessary to keep you here, learning this way. I felt manipulated and angry. So I can grow old sitting in this gas station like you, waiting to pounce on innocent students? I regretted my remark, as soon as it slipped out. Socrates, unfazed, smiled and spoke softly. "Don't mistake this place, or your teacher, Dan. Things and people are not always as they seem. I am defined by the universe, not by the station. As to why you should stay, what you can gain, isn't it obvious? I am completely happy, you see. Are you? A cup holding, clouds of steam surrounding its radiator. Come, she said. This car is suffering, and we may have to shoot it, and put it out of its misery." We both went out to the stricken car, whose radiator was boiling, and whose owner was in a foul mood, fuming. "What took you so long? I can't wait around here all night, damn it." Socrates looked at him with nothing less than loving compassion. "Let's see if we can't help you, sir, and make this only a minor inconvenience." He had the man drive into the garage, where he put a pressure cap on the radiator, and found the leak. Within a few minutes he'd welded the hole shut, but told the man that he would still need a new radiator in the near future. "Everything dies and changes, even radiators," he winked at me. As the man drove away, the truth of Soc's words sank in. He really was completely happy. Nothing seemed to affect his happy mood. In all the time I'd known him, he had acted angry, sad, gentle, tough, humorous, and even concerned. But always, happiness had twinkled in his eyes, even when tears welled up in them. I thought of Socrates as I walked home, my shadow growing and shrinking as I passed under each street light. I kicked a stone into the darkness as I neared my apartment, walking softly down the driveway to the back, where my little converted garage waited under the branches of a walnut tree. It was only a few hours away from dawn. I lay in bed but couldn't sleep. I wondered whether I could discover his secret of happiness. It seemed even more important right now than jumping up onto rooftops. Then I remembered the card he had given me. Quickly, I got out of bed and turned on the light. Reaching into my wallet, I extracted the card. The heart started to beat rapidly. Socrates had said that, if I ever really needed him to hold the card in both hands and just call, well, I was going to test him. I stood for a moment, trembling. My knees were starting to shake. I took the softly glowing card in both hands and called, "Socrates, come in, Socrates." Dan calling. I felt like a complete fool, standing there at 4:55 a.m., holding a glowing card, talking to the air. Nothing happened. I tossed it carelessly onto the dresser in disgust. That's when the light went out. "What?" I yelled as I spun around trying to sense if he was there. In classic movie style, I took a step backward, tripped over my chair, bounced off the edge of the bed, and sprawled to the floor. The light went back on. If someone had been within earshot, that person might have assumed I was a student having trouble with ancient Greek studies. Why else would I be yelling at 5:02 in the morning, "God damn it, Socrates"? I'd never know whether the blackout had been a coincidence or not. Socrates had only said he'd come. He hadn't said how. I sheepishly picked up the card to put it back into my wallet when I noticed it had changed. Underneath the last lines, paradox, humor, and change, appeared 2 words in bold print. Emergencies only. Laughing, I fell asleep in no time at all. Summer workouts had begun. It was good to see old familiar faces. Herb was growing a beard, Rick and Sid were cultivating their dark summer tans, and looked slimmer and stronger than ever. I wanted so much to share my life, and the lessons I'd been learning with my teammates, but I still didn't know where to begin. Then I remembered Sock's business card. Before warm-up began, I called Rick over. "Hey, I want to show you something." Once he saw that glowing card and Sock's specialities, I knew he'd want to know more about it. Maybe they all would. After a dramatic pause, I pulled the card and flipped it over to him. "Take a look at that. Pretty strange. That guy is a teacher of mine." Rick looked down at the card, turned it over, then looked back up at me, his face as blank as the card. "Is this a joke?" "I don't get it, Dan." I looked at the card, then turned it over. I grunted, stuffing the piece of paper back into my wallet. "Just a mistake, Rick. Let's warm up," sighed inwardly. This was bound to strengthen my reputation as the team eccentric. Socrates, I thought, what a cheap trick, disappearing ink. That night, I had the card in my hand. When I walked into the office, I threw it down on the desk. "I wish you'd quit playing practical jokes, Socrates. I am tired of looking like an idiot." He looked at me sympathetically. "Oh, have you been looking like an idiot again?" "Socrates, come on. I'm asking you, will you please quit it?" "Quit what?" The gag with the disappear. Out of the corner of my eye I caught a soft glow from the vicinity of the desk. Warrior Incorporated. Socrates, prop. Specializing in paradox, humor, and change. Emergencies only. "I don't get it," I murmured. "Does this card change?" "Everything changes," he replied. "Yes, I know, but does it disappear and appear again?" "Everything disappears and appears again." "Socrates, when I showed it to Rick, there was nothing there." "It's the house rules," he shrugged, smiling. "We're not being particularly helpful. I want to know how... ... Let it go," he said. Let it go. Summer passed quickly, with intensive workouts and late nights with Socrates. We spent half the time practicing meditation, and the other half working in the garage or just relaxing over tea. At times like these I would ask about Joy. I longed to see her again. Socrates would tell me nothing. With vacations and imminent, my mind drifted back to the coming classes. I had decided to fly down to LA for a week's visit with my parents. I would put my Valiant in garage storage here, and buy a motorcycle while down in LA, then drive it up the coast. I was walking down Telegraph Avenue to do some shopping, and had just come out of the pharmacy with toothpaste, when a scrawny teenager came up to me, so close I could smell stale alcohol and sweat. "Spare some change, can't you?" he asked, not looking at me. "No, sorry," said, not feeling sorry at all. As I walked away, I thought get a job. Then vague guilt came into my mind. I'd said no to a penniless beggar. Angry thoughts arose. He shouldn't walk up to people like that. I was halfway down the block, before I realized all the mental noise I had tuned into.